Hey guys, Mr. Dean here. What we're going to be coming up with next is a summative. It's about life after the lockdown. It's a summative about our unit on Islam. So it's going to connect Islam with the ideas of the lockdown that are going on now. We're going to put them together into a paragraph, okay? The rubric is on our Google Classroom. I've got it up here on the screen here, and I'm just going to show you roughly what I would be doing to get ready for this and to prepare for this. So what I do is I read this document, and it's going to explain all the things you need to do. It's going to give you the rubric as well, how you're going to be graded. But the most important part is this section here, where these are the things that you have to write about, okay? The elements of the Islamic faith that we've studied. It's going to talk about describing the social distancing lockdowns that are happening. And then it's going to talk about how religions and other groups of people that get together for beliefs and religious events, how are they going to be affected by these lockdowns? And then finally, in the future, what's the future going to look like for religion or beliefs or rituals or people getting together, like birthday parties or other non-religious things? Are people going to be doing these things like they did in the past, or because of the lockdowns and the fear of pandemic, are people going to do things differently in the future? So now that I understand this, the next thing I'm going to do is create, and I did that over here, some sort of an outline, okay? Some sort of a plan for what am I going to write about. And if you notice back in the planner, there's 4 things that I have to write about, okay? 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so in my plan, I've got idea 1, idea 2, idea 3, and idea 4. And this is where I'm going to put my ideas down to talk about what's happening here. Now, the first idea was number 1, describe elements of the Islamic faith that we've studied. You can also include elements from other religions or other belief systems, but most importantly, because this is a unit on Islam, I'm going to require you to talk about Islam a little bit in here, okay? And you're going to have to show me that you remembered something or know something about the Islamic religion, okay, here in number 1. So in my planner in number 1, one of the elements, one of the pillars of the Islamic faith I'm going to look at is the Hajj. The Hajj. I'll put it in capital letters because I think it's a proper noun. The Hajj. The Hajj, I don't know if you remember, is when Islamic people go, they're obliged to, they have to, at least once in their life, travel to Mecca and pray at the Kaaba that we studied, that black box, okay? So the Hajj, Muslim people are obliged to travel here once in their life. And I put here, and I should put the city of Mecca. And I'll put the holy city of Mecca, because that's what they call it. And it's at least, because you can go more than once if you like, at least once in their life. So that's something Muslim people do. Idea number 2, though, describes social, oh, well, let's go to number 2, social distancing. Now the Hajj, if I looked at this website, it said that 2.4 million pilgrims or Muslims go to the Hajj every year on average. Last year it was, or 2018, it was 2.4 million pilgrims. That's from a website called statista.com. So over here, I will put according to statista.com, and I'll put approximately 2.4 million Muslims visit Mecca each year. That's just an approximation because that was only 2018. Maybe there was more in 2019. Maybe there's a little bit less. What I did, though, I took that 2.4 million and I divided it by 365 days. Because if they're going to get 2.4 million visitors in a year, what would it look like on an average day? And on an average day, there's almost 6,000 visitors in Mecca, okay? So on average, that would be about around 6,000 people a year worshiping together at the Kaaba. Okay? Now, that's a good piece of information. I've got a piece of evidence. I got a statistic. I got a quote. Now, for idea two, it's talking about social distancing. What are some of the rules that countries around the world have? And I found this article from a website called dw.com. Now, watch this. According to dw.com, in Europe, for example, they've got strict rules about going outside. So here it says people in Italy, for example, are permitted to leave the house. They're allowed to go exercise close to home, go grocery shopping, or go to the doctor. That is it. 3 reasons. It does not say anything on that list about going to church. Okay. So what I'm going to do put here is according to dw.com, people in Italy can only go outside for specific reasons. And I'll put exercise, grocery shopping, grocery shopping, and what was the third one? Going to the doctor, that's it. Whoops. And going to the doctor. Religion is not one of the reasons. Okay. I might actually go and look at dw.com. I don't know what dw.com is. About DW. Let's see. What do they say it is? I'm just waiting for my internet to come up. Because what I might do is say, according to dw.com, because it's not a website people know, I might explain a little bit about what it is here. Idea number 3, explain how some of the elements of Islam could be impacted by a lockdown. Okay, so this is when I combine 1 and 2 together. Okay, so here's what I'd say is Muslims are obliged to visit Mecca once in their lifetime. However, during this pandemic lockdown, Muslims are probably forbidden to gather together to pray. This makes visiting the Kaaba very difficult. Yeah, especially when you think about like how you got 2 million people a year. They all want to visit the Kaaba and pray there, but there's only 365 days of the year. You'd have to get like 1 second where you could run in, pray, get out, where the next person comes in. Like they'd have to organize it very carefully. So it'd be very difficult for Muslims to fulfill this obligation. Now, idea number 4 here, in your opinion, speculate about how in the future religions can be different now that people understand the dangers of a global pandemic. So here I'm going to do some guesswork. I'm going to look ahead to the future and say, well, how will Muslims deal with this new reality looking ahead in the future? Will they still ask Muslims to gather together at Mecca? Or will they change that rule? Now, this is going to be a very difficult decision for Muslims to make because that rule didn't just come from anybody. This came from Muhammad, which came from, according to Muhammad, it came from Gabriel, and that came from God. So how are they going to change that? So looking forward, and this is, you can use I here because it's your ideas. I am not sure how Islam will. What am I looking for? I'm not sure how Islam will connect the ideas of social distancing with the Hajj, with the Hajj and other gatherings in their religion, because they get together too at the mosque to pray every Friday, so there's another problem. So let me do some guessing here. So perhaps in the future, Muslim rules will be relaxed so that Muslims are not obliged to visit Mecca in person. They can maybe visit virtually via some virtual reality goggles, something like that. Okay, so there's some. I just want you to know that these ideas that I've typed up here, these are not necessarily great ideas, and they're not finished. There's still some things that need to be put in here. I'm just showing you how I would rough out. These would need some polishing and some work before you turn them into me, or turn them into a paragraph. Closing statement I'd come up with here, and then I'd write some sort of opening statement, and then I'd take all those pieces, all of these pieces, and then down here I would put them all together into a paragraph, okay? Starting with the opening sentence, my 4 ideas, and then the closing sentence, okay? So I just wanted to put this together to give you a rough idea of how I would put things together. I would start looking at this to see what Mr. Dean wants from you. I'd create some sort of a planner to organize my thoughts, and then I would start hitting the internet to see what the heck is out there, okay, as proof. One of the places you can look at for sure is our online textbook. Here's some information here that says people have to pray. Here's one about the Hajj. That's the 5th pillar. The 5th pillar is the Hajj. So maybe in here I can put, this is the 5th pillar of Islam, according to, and then I put the name of our textbook there, okay, right there. Okay, I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, send me an email, and we'll talk to you guys later. Take care.